How's it going, folks? This is Orion, and I'm here to help you take a look at not a new game, but a game that's been in early access for a number of months. I'm not entirely sure when it first released, but, or actually, yeah, no, I'm not entirely sure when it first released, but this is Nuclear Option. This is what is considered to be a Sim-cade game. It's a sim arcade. More along the lines of games like Project Wingman than it is compared to DCS World or even older sims like Falcon BMS. Nuclear Option is a game that allows you to fly in a variety of different types of aircraft to achieve objectives, and objectives are defined by the types of missions that you are flying, as in a regular arcade, as in a regular simulation. However, the types of missions that the game gives you are pretty varied. You have a free flight mode, which allows you to choose between flying for either the BDF, the Boscali Defense Force, I think it's Boscari. Yeah, Boscali Defense Force, or the Primiva Armed Liberation Alliance. There's no real difference between the two beyond where they start. In the beginning, actually, no, there's no difference between where they start. There's no difference between the two beyond where they start. Boscali will start in the north of the map, and Primiva will start in the southern half of the map. This game is taking place in an entirely fictionalized setting created by the developer, where it is basically a near-future war between two belligerent nations flying the same kinds of aircraft. And most of the aircraft are basically futuristic futuristic versions of aircraft that currently exist. Like for example, right here, you're seeing ground vehicles, and obviously they can be skinned in their respective factions skin here. But you've got a variety of different vehicles that you can go up against. But the aircraft is really the main show of this game, because you can fly. This is the CI-22 Cricket, which is a relatively low speed, low altitude fighter bomber that is basically like a short takeoff aircraft that you primarily use to insert into beyond the AO to drop small bombs on like airfields and things like that. It's an interesting little plane to fly. I haven't really flown it yet. I plan on testing it. I don't know if I'm going to do that for this video, but I'm going to try it out. Then you've also got the TA-30 Compass, which is your basic light fighter. It's a trainer aircraft that can also be doubled up as a low altitude light fighter or bomber. It can carry ground munitions. It can carry medium range or heat-seeking air-to-air missiles. You've also got the 46 Chicane, which is kind of like this game's version of the AH-64 Apache, or the Comanche even, which is the experimental helicopter. You've also got the FS-12 Revoker, which is this is basically the F-16 or even the Tornado analog. I believe this has more, I think this has more design language with the Gripen or the Vegan. I'm not entirely sure which one of those. But I want to consider that this is like the F-16 version, or like a futuristic F-16. You've got the KR-67 Ifrit, which is kind of like the combination between a carrier operational F-35C with the stealth capabilities of the F-22, or the design language of the F-22 rather. Obviously you could see the inspiration here with the design of the overall aircraft. This actually kind of reminds me of the FA-181 from Arma 3, which was introduced in the Planes pack way back in like 2016 or 2018 or somewhere around there. But this is a carrier operational aircraft, and there are carriers in this game. I'll actually show how that works here in just a little bit. It can carry bombs, it can carry missiles, either medium range or short range heat seekers, and it also has an internal cannon. That's also one of the things I wanted to mention about this one too. Although this one is capable of having a pod mounted gun, it does not have an internal cannon. It does have an internal weapons bay, so you can carry additional munitions in it, or you can carry the pod mounted gun. You have a choice there. You also have the EW-25 Medusa, which is an electronics warfare aircraft. It is designed to be put into the battle space to jam enemy radar and to also intercept missiles using its laser. And then you also got the SFB-81 Dark Reach, which is this is a pure bomb. This is a pure bomber. This is a pure bomber. I keep repeating myself there. I apologize. I stutter. It primarily carries ground munitions, so this is what you use to basically the whole point of this game is to get to a point where you can drop nuclear weapons to win the match. Pretty much, it's kind of like War Thunder in that regard. So we're back to the cricket, but that's basically all of the aircraft that you can fly. There's no aircraft that does everything perfectly well. It's every aircraft does a thing differently, and each one does it well. So what I'm going to do is let's do a quick rundown of what missions are available. Obviously, you've got your first three, which are tutorials, teaches you how to taxi and take off, your targeting and weapons, and your countermeasures. You've got 10 developer created scenarios or missions that are very specialized, have you doing different things. And then you also have larger scale scenarios. Altercation, as an example, has you going up against another airfield, so you have to destroy that enemy airfield before the enemy destroys yours. Confrontation relegates activity to the eastern side of the map, to the eastern half of the map. And once again, you are going up against an enemy airfield and one forward airbase and naval assets. Domination is pure air warfare. You are basically flying any aircraft you want, and your primary focus is to win established air dominance. Escalation is a full-scale war. It has you going up against the entire enemy faction, utilizing the entire map. Now, this is primarily a PvP map, but I am going to start it as a PvE map. Going to join the Boscali Defense Force. Now, this is basically a look at what the map looks like. Now, I'm not at the point now where I can actually get on the Hyperion class carrier, because I don't have enough funds to be able to buy a plane that is carrier capable. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the highway strip here, just to get into the fight, just to get right up into the fight. And that should be good. I'm going to go ahead and just fly with this. I'm going to go ahead and taxi out to runway. Like I said, this is more of a Sim-cade, so certain things are simulated. You're actually noticing here I'm using like VR capability. I'm actually using a Tobii eye tracker, which this game does allow face track, but it does not have native support for Tobii eye tracker. You have to use like face track IR or open track or anything like that in order for it to work properly. I'm currently taking off directly from a highway, so this will be interesting. I'm taking off, centering my drive down the runway, lifting, rotating, and wheels up. All right. I'm gonna switch to my heat seekers here. Probably gonna go down pretty quickly though, so I'm not at all confident in my ability to stay alive here. And there goes my first heat seeker. Switching on afterburners. I think they sent off countermeasures. I'm not confident that my missiles hit. Oh. No. Yeah, I definitely wasn't going to survive that.
Stall.
That's a pretty good idea of what to expect. Obviously, it's pretty tough. You're not really given a whole lot of you're not really given a whole lot of opportunity to kind of defend yourself. And I can't even, yeah, I can't even purchase the I can't even purchase that. I gotta purchase the cricket. So we'll see how the cricket flies here. I think the entire, yeah. I think the entire point of it is to, I'm willing to bet it's an entire, it's, yep, it's entirely a ground fighter. So I'm gonna have to get used to it. Oh my god, this looks ridiculous. The hell? Something's already targeting me. General idea of what to expect, at least. This actually isn't really all that bad of a game. It is obviously in early access, so there's a ton of work that needs to be put into it. For example, the cockpits are not fully modeled. They're not full fidelity cockpits, so you can't click anything in them. Your interactions with the cockpit are basically relegated to just the control sticks and the HOTA and the throttle. And so I'm going to see how well I do here. Probably not well. Yeah, if I go up against a helicopter, I'm pretty much done for here. I don't know the capability of this aircraft. Oh. Oh shit. He took out my targeting. Ah. Ah, someone took him out. Nice. Alright. I'm gonna see about landing. Because, yeah, that's a... I highly doubt that's something I want. Did I just completely unbind the... Oh. There we go. It was actually a gun skill. Nice. Let's power down the ship, power down the aircraft a little bit and come in for a landing. I think this is the only way I'm going to be able to do it. It's by lowering the throttle to just enough where I will not have a whole lot of energy coming into the runway. Now, this whole mode does have objectives to it. Like, for example, I am actually supposed to capture that airstrip that's 21 kilometers away. I haven't figured out yet how to do that exactly. Alright, this is actually giving me an approach vector, so that's fine. I'll follow the approach vector now. Now, given that this game is compatible with HOTAS, I only fly with VKB equipment, so I'm not entirely sure what it's compatible with, but it should be compatible with any HOTAS system that you're using, and or any like flight stick or flight stick throttle collective, any flight stick throttle collectives, anything like that. I'm pretty sure it's compatible with. It automatically detected my VKB, my stick, my throttle, and my SCM module without any additional input. So I'm fairly certain it is compatible with any flight stick, any flight system. Need to give myself a little bit more elevation here. Ooh, I need to give myself a lot of elevation. Ooh. Okay. Okay. This is not good.
Stall.
Not good. Successful sortie. Yeah, right. Okay. All right. So yeah, that was funny. And obviously now I've got a little bit more built up here. Now this airstrip is only capable of launching the helicopter, the Compass, or the Cricket. So I'm going to actually lift off again. This time I'm going to keep the gun pod. The outer wing pylons should keep the, I think actually. It doesn't select dual. That's unfortunate. Okay. So we'll do that. Or we'll do that. And then we'll see how this works. Okay, but I will go ahead and buy this and let's fly it. See if I have any better luck with this one. This is kind of more along the levels of Falcon BMS, except not as larger scale as Falcon BMS is. Because Falcon BMS, you feel more like you are just a single part in a larger war, whereas this one kind of has you go into a match. Basically, and just kind of last until you earn enough points to have your team declare victory. It's similar in concept, but it's not quite so dynamic. Like, there's no overall war going on unless that's the goal that they're intending on going towards. But once again, this is not really a full-on sim so much as it is an arcade game with simulation aspects. And we got our ground forces pushing in here, so I'm gonna try to see if I can support the actual attack. That's a building. See if that actually blows up the, oh. Nope, it did not. Alright.
Left engine
Fuck.
fire. Right engine fire.
God damn it.
Stall.
It is really difficult to defend against, anti-air like that. So let's go to an airport here. And flying something that's maybe a little bit more specialized. Now this is the multi-role fighter. Its focus is mainly going to be on air-to-air, but I'm actually going to fit it with GPO 500 in the front. What is the PAB? No, I'm going to load it with a scythe in the front bay. Let's load it with scythes in the front bay. Inner wing pylon, I'm going to give it missiles. Okay. Oh, the outer wing pylons, I actually kind of want to keep those there. And since I'm not... Actually, no, this is a good opportunity for me to show off the carrier takeoff. So, here we are with the carrier functionality. I'm good with 6 scythes, and believe that will give me 4 S3s and 4 AGM-68s. So we're going to go ahead and buy this, and I'm going to show you how the carrier takeoff works in this. So we load up on the carrier bay, carrier deck. Now, for anyone who is more familiar with the supercarrier module of DCS World, unfortunately, this is not really all that fully functioned. These aircraft are designed to take off in a short distance. So what we instead have is a ramp-based carrier. Kind of like Russia and China, and certain British aircraft carriers. Not anything like the nuclear-powered carriers that the U.S. has, like the Nimitz class with the catapult launchers. So let's go ahead and fire up the afterburner and lift off. All right. And that gives us the angle we need to get off the ground. Not entirely sure why the pitch limiter is always on, but there you go. Okay. One thing I will note, the game doesn't really have very realistic distance modeling, because I'm at 3,500, I'm basically above 3,500 meters right now. And it's looking like, it's more like the equivalent of flying at 15,000 in a standard simulator like Falcon BMS or DCS World. So the distance modeling is not really realistic. But it doesn't really have to be, because the rest of the game functions perfectly well for what it does. I'm probably going to end up losing this aircraft too. But just to give an idea of how everything looks around me, I don't want to say that the comparison here would probably be like if VTOL wasn't a VR game, but VTOL is definitely way more detailed with its cockpits than this game is. And unfortunately, I don't have a VR headset, so I can't really play VTOL. Or I don't have a VR system, so I can't play VTOL. So let's go ahead and disarm the radar and see. I want to test and see if disarming the radar helps with any stealth functionality, if that's actually modeled in the game. Okay, so I don't think it actually matters. At least not at the moment. Kind of unfortunate, but whatever. Lost radar tracking, which is great. Oh, yep.
Left engine.
Yeah, I knew I wasn't going to make it. Oh well, that's a pretty good look into what nuclear option is all about. I feel this is an adequate demonstration of the game. I honestly have high hopes for it. I think it actually does work well for what it is supposed to do. And what it's supposed to do is to provide more of a mixture between a simulation of flying a fighter aircraft and the arcade aspect of playing a game with it too. Obviously, like, there's a lot to learn about it. I might want to go through the tutorials myself to learn how to play the game better. This game also does have multiplayer functionality. I don't know how well that is yet. So I'll be checking that out here in a little bit, maybe. But yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to show off for this video. So if anyone is interested in playing this game, it is currently $18 on Steam. It's pretty easy to get into. If you have a HOTAS, it is compatible with your HOTAS. In fact, let me show you what the settings look like. Control bindings, obviously you've got 3 assigned controllers plus your mouse and keyboard. I have the VKB Gunfighter on my right, the Stex Mini Plus on the left, and then I also have the SEM module, which has limited functionality because the whole thing with the Stex module is that it has a three-way landing gears lever, and the game only has a toggled gear functionality. So, you know, that's kind of one of those things where I may have to just kind of work around it. But yeah, it's actually not really all that bad. I don't know if I'm going to be making another video similar to this. I would certainly hope so. But if I find any interesting flight sim games that I want to talk about, I'll definitely do so. I'll see you all next time.